So before we jump into it, I just wanted to mention that while in this video I'm going to be talking about a set of circumstances that affected me and my immediate set of acquaintances and friends, I know I am speaking on behalf of countless others who have dealt with this type of crap time and time again, especially those of us who've supported Russ since Legacy was new, and we not only dealt with overwhelming amounts of admin abuse, but also overwhelming amounts of hacks. So, before we get into it, I also wanted to mention that I really did not want to make this video. At least I didn't want to make it in the way that I'm going to now. Part of the reason is that the admin who's in question is legitimately a nice, friendly guy when it comes down to it. However, it is really easy for people who have nice, friendly, personalities and characters to kind of have a facade of being someone who's totally innocent and not guilty of all these egregious, which I feel are really egregious sort of crimes that they've committed in the Rust world. So I'm going to go ahead and lay out the entire backstory of everything that's been happening on the server up until this point, and then show you my most recent footage that I got, which is the nail in the coffin, so to speak, in terms of the admin abuse we've been experiencing for a long time, but could never really prove definitively until now. Now, if you're at all familiar with the compounds that Cheddar builds on the all-welcome vanilla Rust server, you'll know that most of the time his bases take upwards of about 20 C4 to break into and successfully raid. Now, I can remember at least 2 circumstances over the course of time that I've played with Cheddar on the server where some really suspicious things happen at his base. For example, there was one day when he logged out for about 12 hours to go to sleep, logged in 12 hours later, and found his entire base raided, multiple auto turrets destroyed, and the only explanation for it is that there was a person who'd never been on the server before that had played maybe 10 hours in that time frame and somehow managed to get all the blueprints and all the materials it would take to make the massive amount of explosives it would take to actually get to that point of raiding him. Now, this is strange because we've gone through a lot of deliberation when this has happened, trying to logically deduce the possibilities of what happened, and every time it makes absolutely no sense that it was just one noob playing by themselves when they'd never been on the server before and they only had 10 hours to accomplish it. Really, it always points to Plague Doctor, the admin. That being said, I just want to mention the fact that if this seems like a weak argument or a weak piece of evidence, it really is, because ultimately we have no definitive proof, like screenshots or video. However, the reason I'm listing this first is because I'm listing all the weak evidence and then building up to the stronger evidence so you can kind of see the pattern that is unfolding here. Now, when it comes to Cheddar himself, I was thinking I might actually, interview him over voice chat, get his side of the story in his own words, but I figured, you know what, I might as well just get this video done as quickly as possible, so I'm relying on him to leave a comment in the comment section below affirming what I've said, and also maybe elaborating a little bit on the other times that this has happened to him, which are from before I started playing with him. Honestly, I can only recall twice that this happened, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 5 times over the course of him playing on the server, and when you just take into account that he's never been raided by anyone else in any other circumstance, it is highly, highly suspicious. Now, moving on to the second piece of backstory, there was a player called Mudslug who was on the server for a period of time a few months ago. If you remember my raid tower video, in the very beginning, his base is the base that I go into and take all the loot from because he offered it up to anyone on the server because he got fed up and quit. Now, the reason that he quit the server, which you'll see in this comment I'm showing you right now, is because the admin was taking stuff from his base with no clip, according to him at least. So at this point, we're going to move on from the realm of backstory and circumstantial evidence into the realm of the undisputed truth. So if you are at all familiar with the Rust Raid 1 million wood from loot video that I made several months ago, you'll notice that if you actually look through the comments carefully enough, you will find a comment from the admin, Tom Hanselar, Plague Doctor, that admits to the fact that he spawned in the 1 million wood, which there's literally no other explanation for, by the way. That's one of those things that you just cannot explain away in any circumstance, because it's a vanilla server. There's no option to stack things anymore. You can't freak stacks. That was a glitch that used to exist where you would start crafting a bunch of items with a material and then you'd cancel the crafting and all of it would stack into one stack. You can't do that anymore. This was filmed after that glitch was removed and on a vanilla server. So there's literally no freaking way that anyone could have gathered all that wood, let alone just put it into a lantern and have the lantern burning for X amount of time in a base that was completely empty otherwise. It was kind of one of those situations where Tom was caught red-handed in the sense that there is no other way that you could explain that, so he had to admit to it. So once again, it's like that doesn't definitively prove anything about what's happened in the past, and especially before the updates to the game where it was obvious when admins are spawning stuff in, but it proves without a doubt that he is the type of person who does this. So if all of the backstory and evidence that you've seen up until this point wasn't damning enough, let's go ahead and hammer that final nail in the coffin that I was talking about earlier, and that is me on top of a base which I was raid towering onto, waiting for the one person who's inside running around to come through the only hatch entrance that leads to the top story. There was no other entrances whatsoever to get into the lower stories of the base from the roof. The person had to come through the hatch that I am guarding, but for some reason, after them getting shot by the auto turret and somehow authorizing it, which you can't do as a normal player when it's not your turret, they magically appeared outside of the inner sanctum of the base on top of the roof without going through the hatch. They just appeared there. I wonder how that's possible. No clip. And what's even worse is that when I actually engaged him in a gun battle, which you see I don't have necessarily the best aim because I'm like freaking naked with nothing but a gun and some bullets, and I'm almost dead for the most part. But you can see I clearly lit him up plenty of times, more than enough that it would take for a normal player to get dropped down to wounded in any normal circumstance. And instead what he does is he runs off of the roof into the high external stone walls below, and then you can hear him clearly walking across them. And then he dies, and he claims that, oh, well, I just died on the high external stone walls. And I'm like, dude, you have God mode on. It's blatantly obvious. And what's even more damning in terms of him trying to say that he didn't have God mode on and he finally died by running off the roof into the walls is that when I looked at his corpse on the ground below, he didn't have a single bandage or ammo on his body, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't understand why he wouldn't have a single bullet. Obviously he didn't spawn anything in because I would have filmed that, so he had to get stuff from the chest. He had to use what was at his disposal like a normal player, but he still no-clipped through the roof, and he still had freaking God mode on, deliberately. He didn't even try and use a excuse or anything. He didn't even try and say, oh, well, I had it, turned on when I was playing last time and I haven't played for a while and I just happened to still have it on when I joined. He obviously turned it on specifically to try and defend his base from being raided, and then he uses frickin' no-clip. So before we move on to the conclusion of this video, I figured it would be useful to take a glimpse into the mindsets of the people that own this base, because it really does add a whole new level of douchebaggery to the entire situation. So let's start with the simple fact that 2 of the 3 main players who live in this compound were actually banned by the admins several weeks ago and are only playing on the server now because I helped them get unbanned. That was directly because of me. Let's just take a look at some of the stuff that they said before they got banned. So this guy, Desire, he was on the server no more than 10 seconds, and the first things that he said were, "You're a faggot, Loinstain. Your sister's a whore." I mean, completely out of context, never even conversed with me before, had no reason to attack me like that, but joins the server specifically to behave that way. Great. I mean, I love how these kids have this false dichotomy, too, of like, oh, well, it's okay if we do it to other people, but it's not okay if they do it to us. And let me exemplify that by showing you some of the signs that the other player, Kato, who was actually an ex-teammate of ours, but someone who isn't a teammate anymore because he decided to backstab all of us and bring Seb around to go and raid people last server wipe. This is the type of stuff that he does. He'll leave signs outside of your base and his base complaining that someone broke in and took stuff when he was offline. Now, keep in mind, this raid was a long-term raid that I invested in over time to do clandestinely. Basically what I did was I broke into some of their building cupboards and I did not clear them from the list because I wanted to have a way to keep towering into their base without them really knowing exactly how I got in. I would destroy all my towers before I left every night. So just to give you the timeline of what happened, there was a 2-week period where I didn't even touch these kids. I was so busy with stuff going on in real life and I just couldn't really be bothered to spend all the time it took playing Rust to record raids and do all this and that. So I left them alone for about 2 weeks. And then right after the first night that something just happens to go missing from their courtyard, he automatically blames me. Now, it would be one thing if someone, told him that it was me in a message or something like that. I actually have no idea if he was informed or not, but if he wasn't, there's really no way that he could have known it was me out of all people. And even though nothing was griefed in his first base, there was just some stuff missing from his courtyard, stuff that was in his furnaces and a chest outside. He comes over to my base, or what he thinks is my base, and tries to grief my front entrance while I'm offline or whatever, when nothing was griefed in his base the first time. And then the second day, I go back and decide to grief the shit out of him because he did it to me and was asking for it. And then he has the audacity to log in, when he notices that and call me pathetic or whatever, and have that same mentality of, oh, well, it's okay if I do it to you, but it's not okay if you do it to me. Now, what's really funny about this is that is like a perfect example of a fascist mentality, and these kids are literally Nazis based on their own admission of it. I mean, right here, here's a screenshot from Seb's profile of a swastika and an ISIS sign that are posted in their base. And here's another screenshot of me asking them if they're Nazis and him saying that they are. So, I mean, it just makes perfect sense. It's that same false dichotomy of like, well, we can be complete dicks to everyone else, but if they dare retaliate against us, they're just being defensive and immature. I mean, really? Like, I warn these kids about this too. I'm like, look, I really do not want to shit on anyone in a video. It's really not the core of what I do on this channel. But if you really want me to show you that no one else agrees with you, at least for the most part, then so be it. I'll show you in a video. And what's even more funny is that when it comes to the personal shit, this kid Seb was trying to figure out how much money I make every year, and actually on his own profile posted a picture of, a little drawing he made in Rust that is a Pepe that says 12K a year, and the caption is, Loin makes 12K a year. Now, he was also getting a bunch of other people to chant this in chat, people that weren't even affiliated with his team, but, were people that apparently didn't like me. I mean, look at these salty-ass signs complaining about offline raids when the one person who logs in to defend their base is the admin with GODMODE and NoClip. I mean, does it get any more pathetic than that? Just a funny, desperate attempt at getting attention and being hypocritical. And I understand the whole thing with like the swastikas and stuff. Some people are going to be all triggered by me mentioning them and say, oh, well, it's just a symbol. People are allowed to joke around in Rust. You can do whatever you want. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech. Yes, I agree with that. However, let's see you put a swastika on your arm and go to school one day. Seriously. I mean, put an ISIS flag and a swastika on your arm and walk into your local police station and see what happens. You're not going to be able to walk into a police station in full Nazi regalia and not be harassed, and told to take that shit off. And anyone who knows me even slightly well understands that I do not talk shit unprovoked. I am never the first person to start throwing blows. I simply react to it and basically give people a taste of their own medicine, all right? If you expect people in life to just turn the other cheek every time that you assault them in one way or another, you're an idiot. So yeah, and another thing that I thought was funny was that at one point they were saying, well, I'm just here to try and make dank memes. So I figured, all right, Seb, I made a meme for you. Check it out. And so when you take into account all of that, and the fact that Tom logged in with GODMODE and NoClip in their base when I was raiding it, is it really out of the question to suspect that he also helped them gather shit faster to build that base by, say, I don't know, no-clipping around and gathering all the freaking animals he could possibly see in about 10 minutes and giving them all the animal fat so they could run their quarries? I don't know. We have no proof of that, but it sure does not seem out of the question considering everything that's involved in this situation. If you agree, definitely let me know. So at this point, I'm just going to let the rest of the video play out with live commentary. It's going to be the entire raid spliced together with all the different clips. I do not have the original clips of me breaking into the base and the first tool cupboards because honestly I wasn't sure how far I would get, so I didn't actually film any of that. Plus, I wanted to keep some of my tactics secret because of the fact that this was supposed to be a clandestine raid like I mentioned before. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks a lot for watching this. Definitely give me your comments below to let me know what your opinions are on this topic, especially those of you who have been involved directly in this situation, the countless people who were griefed by Kato and his team, you know, when I wasn't even involved in any of the stuff. Mention it. Comment your story. You know, Mudslug, comment your story about having stuff disappear from your base. Cheddar, comment your story about having your base completely raided by someone who was only on the server for 10 hours when that's fucking impossible. You know, Crazy Legs, comment about the nasty stuff that these guys said when they were on the server no more than 10 seconds, you know, and had nothing but nasty things to say about the server itself. You know, and then continue to play on it and try and act like they're not toxic characters. I mean, seriously, guys, flesh out this story in the comments. Thanks a lot once again. I hope you're having a great day. Peace. Wow, that's actually not bad at all. Can't bone club. Okay, I thought we could for a second. We cannot bone club. But knowing them, the way that they built this, I mean, I can tell that the honeycombing and stuff is triangles right here. It's like triangles surrounding a 2x2 or a 4x4 or something inside, 3x3, something like that. Oh, that's how they do it. Oh, I get it. That's actually pretty clever. Don't try. Unfortunately for these guys, they've already fucking given us access to a bunch of shit. The Annihilator. I don't know. I think I've already got a plan formulating on how to do it. I'll have to come back later and stuff with more shit, so let's just grab what we have for now because he's already gotten a chance to see it and all that, so I didn't, like, be a total hypocrite. It left us stone, and we could easily use the stone to finish off the embattlement that was there that I started adding honeycombing to. Make it even harder to get rid of us. I'm just gonna swap that out real quick. Cooked sulfur, that's really nice. Well, they basically gave us another auto turret.
Doc, Lemon just died, so he lost his gun.
Yeah, which is probably my gun.
Yeah, he didn't make the jump. I don't know. He didn't make the jump.
Why am I not surprised?
And I couldn't grab it because it was in between the barbed wire.
You really think the chicken raided them or not?
Well, look on the front gate. Did you see the signs that say, "Nice try"?
I mean, honestly, Chicken, I don't know, he just said that, like, Cyan and, like, 4 other guys came with him and raided them. But they were just definitely not.
Like, what the fuck? It's the one problem that I forgot about. See that staircase that I left in there? Yeah, you think they'll notice that?
Yeah. No, not coming in the way that we did, so I think we're fine.
I mean, I don't know. It just depends on if they ever get up there to, like, look down on there and be like, what is that? And then, like, wonder. But, I mean, they're gonna know their shit's gone.
What are we gonna do?
They're just gonna have no idea how their shit's gone. And they're not gonna be able to clear their cupboards because they're sealed in.
Yeah.
As long as they have no idea where we came from.
Covered. Oh, I can build right here. I can build right here.
Alright, well, this is pretty funny. This is another example of naked raiding. You can see I've got 1 health here. I'm almost dead because I managed to finally build a clusterfuck of a raid tower. Took a lot of time and effort. Honestly, I don't really care because these are like my arch nemesis. They're the people that always complain about offline raiding, and I'm going to take this to some extremes and grief the crap out of them. Pretty much just because last night I'm fairly certain that while I was sleeping, they came to my base and tried to grief my front door. Well, they successfully griefed it pretty damn good with multiple layers of walls. So, you know, it's just a real pain there. Luckily, I've got other entrances and all that, and I'm definitely going to shoot them with their own bolt action real quick. It's funny, man, because they left me a sign outside, too, on the walls, saying, like, oh, nice try. Even though I pretty much was successful last night. Alright, goodbye. Go ahead and heal up with his syringe. Let's get rid of this bed. I really like doing that. It's nice. If he ever joins the server again, it's gonna be Dr. Loinstein shot you with an AK. He's gonna be like, oh my god, you offline raided me. Oh, I'm so salty. It's funny. Well, this raid is not over yet. Obviously, this is gonna continue. And I'm one for, you know, continuing to be clandestine and breaking all the raid towers that I possibly can, you know, after I use them, so I'm gonna try and figure out a way to go down into the base, probably with Cheddar. Once he's done in the gym, he'll probably be out of the gym, you know, in a little while, and we'll get some C4, definitely go downward. In fact, their loot room might just be underneath this, and you can tell by this design, because I'm on the roof, this is all just honeycombing. So there's no reason to even worrying about, like, these outer layers. I'm pretty damn sure that the main loot would be in... Wait a second, is that a tool cupboard in there? Oh my gosh, I might be able to really fuck them up if I get that tool cupboard as well. Can't see, though. Gotta be something in there. But anyways, pretty sure that their loot's just in this area right here, right beneath us. I mean, it would make sense too. This goes down, there's probably doors either which way. Waiting till I'm offline, Loin, laughing my ass off. Nice try though. Yeah, cry me a river, noob. That's the funny thing, he doesn't like understand the extent of this. We're about to like actually breach downward from the like direction that they're least expecting us to come from, and knowing this kid, it might just be 2 C4 to get into that loot room if we place it correctly. Although I'm not gonna underestimate that because honestly, this base is their best base that they've ever made, and they typically make really crappy bases otherwise. I've got other videos that show that. So, anyways, that's just funny, man. I love that, because he can't prove it was me. I mean, obviously now this will show that it was me who's been raiding him this whole time, but just that saltiness, you know, of like, he just blames me immediately, even though he can't prove it. It's pretty sad, honestly. Hopefully we can get this raided, you know, on the inside more easily and more quickly, so we can break that before they log in again. Just be like ventriloquists about it, and they can cry all they want. Wow. There was a swastika on there before. I have a screenshot to prove that. They erased it. Funky Town, huh? Let's see. I just want to double check. There's gotta be a building cupboard in there. Good thing that's not honeycombed. Come on. Yes. Suck on that, fools. I'm gonna clear it again just to be double sure. Okay. Now, I forgot my hammer. Great. That's always fun to wait another 30 seconds to do something like that. I'm just going YOLO on this. Good luck getting this one back. Spunk 4C4. I wouldn't want to do it. I'm just gonna put like a asabache on there. Alright. Okay, yeah, so I've got privilege now on this area. That means I can... Oh, are you fucking serious? Oh! Oh my god, I didn't realize it was gonna be that easy. So that was totally fucking worth it. Alright, you guys are wrecked. Hang on, let me get it as close as I possibly can. Oh! That is so savage! They fucking deserve it, though. These guys are such cunts about everything. Like... Okay, I believe that hit the right spot. I need to aim a little bit more up. Yes, I knew it. I knew the cupboard was in there. Boom! Whoa, that's a cool glitch. I've never seen that before. Unfortunately, it's blocking me from being able to place what I want.
I'm back.
Sup, brah?
Nothing.
Right.
Bit tired, but whatever.
Oh, oh no, 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 no. Oh my god. Fuck's sake. Well.
Did you nearly fall?
No, I almost got sliced up by some shit, but apparently I can get out of this room, so... Interesting. Okay, I'm in their gate room thing. Yeah, I've got building privilege their entire gate, or whatever. They're completely fucked, dude. Like, they're so griefed at this point, there's like no fucking way they can even use this base anymore, unless they want to use a shitload of C4 to get their shit back. He's probably getting people to get online, I imagine. Or he would if he's smart. Just gonna run at him with this stuff. Where is he? He's having trouble opening something. Open that fucking hatch, man. I think he's actually coming up through the hatch, dude.
That'd be good.
Just gonna sit here and wait for him. He's having trouble with some of the codes. Oh, he's getting shot by the turrets. He's definitely coming up through this hatch if he's got the guts to it.
Depends if he dies, doesn't it?
I'm in a fucking battle.
If he lived...
He's dead. Oh, he's got God mode. You have God mode, don't you? You have fucking God mode. Of course. Of course. They're living with the admin. Admin has God mode when there's an online raid taking place, and of course they have to complain over and over about it. Wow. Wow, Tom. Really? Wow. Well, that's probably the most priceless clip that I've ever fucking recorded.
Oh dear. That doesn't look good, does it?
Oh, well, I'm telling you, dude, anything happens, I'll take such a fat shit on him in the server with all the perfect fucking footage, so... Yeah. Wow, so he turned off God mode at the last second here to kill himself, and he didn't even have anything on his body besides a revolver and a fucking bolt action? Really? Really? How the hell was he supposedly healing then, like he claims to have been healing? Bullshit. I would have seen him with syringes and shit. That's sad, dude. Obviously, the people that complain about this have to have the fucking admin with God mode when I finally am here to online raid them. Can't even kill them. Real typical. Fucking 12-year-old minded 14-year-olds. Oh well.